All right, we are here. We are live. Where am I looking? I'm over here. I'm Preston Bull. That's Tyler Adams. This is Unadvised here on the Sports Animal YouTube, Facebook, and right here on our X account as well. I need to get in and retweet this stuff. I'm at the Sports Animal Studios right now. I've been filling in for Al all week, Teabag. I'm discombobulated. I'm not back at my house where we normally do the show. But you know what? We're going to get through it. We're going to have a good time and a lot to talk about here tonight. A lot of stories breaking just at the moment. One of those being Bill Belichick is a head football coach in college football now at the University of North Carolina. I know before we came on, you and I talked just a little bit of
I didn't want to spoil too much.
Of how much sense does this really make? It makes not that much sense to me.
So he gave out that plan on the Pat McAfee show.
Yeah.
And for those that haven't heard, it was pretty much this is going to be an NFL pipeline. I'm going to teach how to get to the NFL, which is it sounds great because Bill Belichick is giving that pitch to you, the greatest NFL coach of all time.
Yeah.
But that's what every major college program tries to be, is a pipeline to the NFL.
Is that not the point of college football?
That's
right?
Yeah. So like that right there is like Nick Saban had the perfect pipeline to the NFL.
Yeah.
Georgia has a pretty good pipeline to the NFL right now. And I just don't see it working at all. Yeah. I don't think he realizes what college football is right now and just how it is a legit free-for-all. Like, does he understand that there's no guardrails whatsoever?
Yeah, I have no clue. I mean, you look at it from the North Carolina side of things. They had Mac Brown there, who was 73 years old.
They got younger.
They did get younger. Credit to them. They went from a 73-year-old head coach to a 72-year-old head coach. So they turned the clock back 1 year there for him. But yeah, it just I don't know. And Gideon Hamilton was on the Sports Channel earlier with Barry Trammell, and he asked Barry, over under 3.5 years that Bill Belichick is at North Carolina, and I kind of like the under. 3 years sounds about right to me before he's out of there.
Yeah, I'll take the under in that one.
And they signed him to a 5-year deal, so he would be 77 by the time that's done.
Why does he want to go try the NFL again? Does he just not have any options, I guess? I mean, it's not like
it must be that his young girlfriend just wants him to go to do some college football. Maybe she wants to go hang out amongst the college kids.
I've seen some great videos of oh, sorry, my phone is getting blown up by a group text right now. I'm having to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. The video of him leaving the house off the the Ring doorbell camera footage of him, like I've seen that being resurfaced a lot today. It's like him leaving the dorms.
Yes, no, 100%. Questionable decision, I guess. But
if you're North Carolina, like what, like you. To me, North Carolina should be a lot better program than what they are. They have you would think they have probably a pretty good NIL. Now, I know a lot of that goes to basketball. They're basketball first school. I get that. They have a very successful alumni base. They have a big alumni base. They're the premier college in North Carolina, a big state, fertile recruiting ground, I've never been to Chapel Hill, but I'm assuming it's probably a pretty cool place to go to school. Great uniforms. I don't get why they're settling with Bill Belichick. Like, I would be I'd find if I was a fan of North Carolina, I'd obviously buy into it.
Yeah.
Because that's what fans do. But at the same time, I think in the back of my mind, like, are we sure about this? Because it's just like, why are you settling for this? Like, why not go try to find an up-and-comer?
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm with you on that. It's now getting word they're renaming it to Chapel Bill.
Chapel Bill.
Instead of Chapel Hill. So that's where North Carolina will be playing games, is in Chapel Bill. Questionable move. We'll see if it works out. I just struggle to see a 72-year-old man figuring out the world that is college football these days. When everyone's going younger, North Carolina said, "Screw it, we're just gonna have another old guy in here."
This could be great. or this could be just
Yeah.
awful.
They're
There's
gonna
really
need
no between.
they're gonna need Michael Jordan to fork over some of that cash that he has. And I'm sure he is, but they're gonna need
I
a
mean,
lot more
imagine
money.
Bill Belichick kind of like trying to like have kids stay on top of their grades.
Yeah. You guys need to go to class.
Ass, ass. I mean, come on, guys.
We're on to chemistry now. Yeah, so yeah, it'll be interesting. We'll see how that plays out. And then real quickly before we get into the Thunder, that's the main story tonight is the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Oklahoma football schedule has dropped for 2025. We'll just run down it real quick. They start the season with Illinois State, then they take on Michigan, both of those at home. Then they travel to Temple to take on the Owls, back home for Auburn and Kent State. Then they have a bye. I believe they have a bye. Maybe they have a bye after Auburn, one of those two. But then they take on Texas after Kent State. Then they travel to South Carolina, home against Ole Miss, at Tennessee, at Alabama, back-to-back weeks. No, it looks like they get a bye in between that as well. So then they'll take on Missouri and LSU to end the season. So a pretty similar schedule as this past season, just kind of flipped home and away, which we all thought and knew that's what was going to happen.
And you don't get the punching bag game in November. You get in early October instead.
But
So.
before Texas, right? I mean, that could be pretty big.
That's true. That is before Texas.
And I believe Texas.
You can look ahead. You can look ahead to Texas.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I believe Texas before Oklahoma plays Florida. So the SEC kind of throwing Oklahoma a bone maybe a little bit there, having a decently easy game before you take on the Longhorns. But that's the 2025 schedule for the Oklahoma Sooners. Just dropped just minutes ago, really, here on X. I saw that. So all right, yeah, let's rip off the Band-Aid here and let's talk about a basketball team in Oklahoma City, T-Bag, that is pretty damn good.
I was in attendance last night, and Preston, I got something. Not only do I get to step into an NBA Cup game,
yeah,
I got a physical ticket to prove
you don't see that too often.
You don't see it at all. So the Thunder were gracious enough to give the 12 Days of Spinozzi a $5 raffle, $5 Fridays. We'll be doing another $5 Friday this Friday, round of golf at Oak Tree. Tune into thesportstable.com or okcdcenter.org for that stuff.
Yeah.
But we did $5 Fridays. Thunder were very nice enough to give a suite to raffle off. So we did $5 and raised over $9,100, which is awesome. And our man Michael Neal won, and he invited us to the game. Got a text saying my ticket's at will call, which I don't think I've ever received a text like that in my life. Because will
makes
call
you feel kind of special, right? It's like, hey, here, go pick your ticket up.
I felt like the guy and the dad in Talladega Nights who gives it to will call.
Yeah.
He's like these tickets have been waiting for a long time. It's like I got two. But when I got the physical ticket, I was like, I'm actually gonna keep this because this might be the last. Because in my room at my parents' house, I have a bunch of like tickets from like a Thunder playoff. I have like a Thunder playoff. I went to the Thunder Grizzlies Game 7 like 2013 or 2011 maybe. I still have that. I have like a Bedlam ticket from 2011. I got my Sugar Bowl ticket still. So I have a couple of tickets. So this is going to join just because this might be the last physical ticket I may ever get. And it's also an NBA Cup ticket. I can step into the NBA Cup.
There you go. And I'm glad that I'm not the only one because I have every Oklahoma football game ticket I've ever went to. I still have it. So at least I'm not the only one that does that. So
no, I've kept tickets over the years.
Yeah.
I have like 6 or 7 at my house. Just on a little bulletin board.
Okay, yeah. Unfortunately, the last handful of games I've been to, you don't get tickets anymore. They're all on their phone. So
I bet the last physical ticket I have is probably it's probably the Sugar Bowl ticket from the 2015 season.
Yeah. That's I think mine was 2016 Oklahoma Sugar Bowl against Auburn. So but yeah, the Oklahoma City Thunder, they beat down the Dallas Mavericks last night, 118-104. In a game where if you look at the stats, or if you looked at the stats midway through the game, you'd think, man, the Mavericks are really taking it to the Thunder, right? But then you look at the whole game, you're like, no, not really. The Thunder, they might have not shot the best, right? But they were able to, do what they do, create turnovers, get steals, and score off those turnovers. And they pull out a big victory and they're headed to Las Vegas this weekend.
Yeah, the last night was just awesome. I shout out, I think everyone kind of made fun of the NBA Cup and still like kind of does to an extent.
Yeah.
Like I think it's still funny to like, joke, it's like I can step into an NBA Cup game kind of thing. But shout out to the NBA because this has been a really fun thing. And it's like when your team's not in it, you don't really care. Like I remember last year, I was like, whatever. Now that the Thunder are in it, and last night was, an elimination game for the Cup, the crowd was awesome. I was into it. It was against the Mavs, who I would say right now are the Thunder's number one rival, and probably vice versa. I know the Mavs do not like the Thunder at all, the Mavs fans.
Oh, no, they were all bitching and moaning on social media last night.
We're about to play a game. What were Mavs fans DMing me last night? Because I got a lot of Mavs friends from college.
Dude,
I
was in the group message with my Mavs buddy going at it until about 1:30 in the morning, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's so fun. But I mean, the intensity, like it felt for December, Preston, like it wasn't like the playoff feel you have. But when I got home last night, I had a celebratory beer. And I would never do that in another regular season. I would never have like a celebratory beer for another December game.
Yeah.
So, last night was awesome. They played great. The defense was just suffocating. Luka took him forever to get going. He finally kind of got going there late in the third or into the fourth, but too little too late. Hartenstein and Caruso just make such a difference against, playing against the Mavs now. So just all in all, just a fantastic night, a fantastic win. I'm pumped. We're going to Vegas, baby.
Yeah, no, it's going to be fun. And I wasn't fully bought in on the Cup until probably last night. Honestly, it's funny what winning can do for you, right?
Yeah. I was bought in on the who did we play to make it to advance? Was it the Jazz?
Jazz. They beat the Jazz. Yeah.
What that game? That was like, all right. I want to advance. I want to win this Jazz game and have the Rockets win or whatever we needed to happen to keep advancing. So that's kind of when I bought in. But last night was officially like, all right, let's go win this damn thing.
Yeah. No, and look, it's one of those things they give out 2 trophies throughout the season. One comes at the end, and one comes 25 games in. And if you want to be a good basketball team, you might as well go out and win the damn NBA Cup tournament. Might as well do. You get $500,000 if you do. And there's a whole lot of guys. I know Jay Will, one of those that's been advocating to win some basketball games in this thing so he can get that $500,000. So
it's close to $1 million when it's all said and done because they get money just for going to Vegas and just for
really?
So by the time it's all said and done, all the money they collect is close to $1 million. Yeah.
So and they will play the winner of the Warriors and Rockets game. That one coming up at 8:30. So start here in about an hour and a half or so on TNT. They'll play the winner of that game. Out of those two teams, which one would be a better, not a better matchup, but which one would you more like to see out of those two teams?
So me and Curtis were talking about this morning. I want to see the Rockets for the sole reason if it's Thunder Warriors. I think they're going to put that game in the primetime spot, which is also which will be during the Bedlam basketball game, which I'll be in attendance.
Oh, really?
So I wanted it to be the early game so I can catch most of the Thunder game. Because I just assume Thunder Warriors, Steph Curry, it's probably going to be the prime time.
Yeah.
But Thunder might be prime time too. They might try to promote them, a little bit more. Well, we say that, but they don't care about small market. Anyway. So I think the Rockets. I also think the Thunder kind of have a mini rivalry brewing with the Rockets as well.
Yeah.
And games like a Vegas playing game, could just help advance that. You make rivalries in the playoffs. Hell, you might start making a little rivalries in the play-in now if you didn't see them again in the playoffs. So I'll go with the Rockets.
No, 100%. I said that earlier as well. And it's also one of those things where the Thunder dropped a game to the Rockets a couple of weeks ago that they probably shouldn't have lost, right? The Rockets were just white hot, shooting the ball that night. So I think it would be fun to get one back against the Rockets. Plus, we've seen so much of the Warriors, it feels like already. They've played them already twice, I think, this season. So I'm I'm over the Warriors.
Yeah.
I'm ready to be over the Warriors. So,
all right,
we'll
Preston.
see how that goes.
Let's just play a little game real quick.
Yeah.
What were Mavs saying last night in the group messages?
A lot of
What?
name calling, I would assume.
So I got lots of uncalled reach-ins. There's one. Hold on. Now my phone just reset.
And the funny thing is, Mavericks fans want to bitch and moan about, the referees, the foul calls. The Thunder shot 7 free throws last night.
Yeah.
The Mavericks shot 19. What are we talking about?
Fouling ass Thunder players. It's every play. Finally, Lou Dort, you bozo. Then I sent Sam Humphries put out the tweet of what would be like the Thunder defense.
Oh, yeah.
So I sent it to them. I said, y'all vote your favorite option. The Hackers would be solid, said one. I'm going to be making a montage of all these fouls at work tomorrow. Then I replied back, I get it. This defense just puts you in shambles. 20 minutes later, this is making me rage on a Tuesday night. Every single play, Dort is fouling. Should have been 43 throws, not 19. That wasn't basketball I just watched. SGA and Wallace play basketball. Nobody else on that team does. And then I just replied, wah, wah, and didn't hear anything back.
It's rich coming from Mavericks fans where all their superstar has to do is cry a little bit to the referee, and he gets any foul that he wants.
Yeah. There's levels to this. Our superstar is going back and playing defense.
Yeah.
Your superstar is crying to the refs. All right.
Yes.
There's a difference to this right now.
Yeah.
I hate the Mavs so much. This is so fun. This is a legit this is like Thunder Grizzlies back in the day kind of rivalry. Like this is like we do not like each other. The players don't seem to like each other. The fans obviously don't like each other. It's awesome. It's just great for both fan bases, for both teams to have this right now. And I was telling my roommate, I was like, how do I want to word this correctly? If the Thunder won a championship this year, I would feel feelings I've never felt before because I've never had my team win a championship.
Yeah.
So I'd feel feelings I don't even know what it would feel like. I literally have no clue what that feeling is like. If they don't beat the Mavs along the way, it might just be a little bit less sweet. Like not a lot. Like not like if you tell me right now you're going to win the championship, but you're not going to play the Mavs. Like sign me up. I don't care. I want to win the championship. I want to beat the Mavs along the way. I want the Mavs along the way.
The parade comes around and you're like, God dang it, we didn't beat the damn Mavericks.
Yeah, it's like I want them. I want that revenge. I want that sweet revenge. I want those texts every night for 2 weeks. That's what I want.
I think the Mavericks fans, they're just mad that this is probably the best team that Luka's had around him. And Luka went out and put up 2 points until the end of the third quarter. Their superstar all-world guy had 2 points until like 2 minutes left in the third quarter.
Yeah.
And they can say, well, they were double teaming them. Who gives a damn, man? We're playing basketball out here.
Yeah, that's basketball.
We've got 3 guys that can guard Luka, and everyone wants to bitch and moan. It's crazy. I'll get in trouble talking about the Mavericks because I despise them with every fiber in my body. And my friend that's a Mavericks fan can't comprehend how me being his friend, I don't want his teams to like do good. I'm like, no, dude, I want all my friends' teams to lose as much as possible. Because if I can't have joy in my teams, I sure as hell don't want the people I'm close to talking to every day to have any type of joy with their sports teams either.
Especially when it's a rivalry like that. Like this one's
exactly.
Like, I do not want the Mavericks to have any kind of success. I want them to have enough success to be the 8 seed when they have to play the 1 seed Thunder in the playoffs. That's the amount of success I want them to have.
100%. And the foul issue, it really is getting kind of out of control. With the NBA and them not calling fouls, when like Thunder players drive and stuff like that, it's just I don't get it. And I've talked to I asked Matt Pinto the other day. I'm like, why do you think that is? And he's like, I have no clue. Like I have no clue. And for a guy that's been doing NBA games for 30 something years, for him to just have absolutely no clue, it baffles me.
I don't know if it was you or Josh that left us that gem of Matt Pinto calling out the refs by name last night.
Josh, yeah.
We really appreciate that because we had a big laugh at that one this morning.
Yeah, no, like he gets into it. And sometimes you got to sit back and you're like, yeah, I don't know, especially like the Lakers. And you're like, I don't get it, but
yeah,
that's above my brain power. The last point I had on the Thunder, it's crazy how in a limited free agency year, like talent wise and stuff like that, like big names and stuff, the Thunder went out and got the perfect guy in Isaiah Hartenstein because he's just been perfect. He's a double machine for the Thunder. I don't have they lost yet with him in the lineup. I don't think they have.
No, they lost to the Rockets.
Yeah, they lost to the Rockets. That's right. So they've been almost perfect with him in the lineup.
Where the Thunder are 11-3 without Chet.
Yeah,
there's a little gap between with no Chet or no Hartenstein.
Yeah,
there's like they're 11-3 without Chet.
Yeah.
So when Chet comes back, hopefully, if Chet comes back, I'm optimistic he will, but I don't think it's any like for a certain guarantee right now. But pretty optimistic he will be back this season if the Thunder can stay relatively healthy.
Yeah,
it's gonna be some scary hours for these other teams.
And speaking of Chet, we're exactly a month from them announcing that he was going to be out for a while. I think the injury happened on November the 10th. So they announced that he would be out for a while on November the 11th. It's now December the 11th. So we'll see. Him standing last night, but still having to use crutches to get around doesn't it kind of changes my opinion on when he'll be back. I originally said after the All-Star break. I think maybe a couple weeks after the All-Star.
I think it's gonna be like mid-March.
Yeah,
it would be
somewhere
my
in
guess.
there.
Mid late March. If you tell me right now it's gonna be by April 1st, I'll take it. Give him 5 regular season games to kind of get back into it or something. 5 to 10 regular season games. Earlier the better, but just as long as he's back before the playoffs, so he can kind of get a little bit back into game shape, get his move going again. I think that's all we can really ask for.
Yeah, it was good to see him out there in his velour jumpsuits, which had to be custom made for sure. Matt Ravis tweeted out a picture of how Chet was standing the whole game. And there was like a guy behind him that had to like lean over, and eventually the guy just stood up and watched the game standing up behind Chet.
Well, what are you going to tell Chet? Sit down?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, hey, pal, can you move a little bit for me or something? But yeah, I saw that and I got a good chuckle out of that. All right, anything else NBA related before we move on to a couple of football stuff?
No, I think we covered it. I'm excited. I'm excited for Vegas.
Yeah,
I wish I was going.
It should be fun. Yeah, me too.
I actually had a friend like legitimately trying to get me to come. I was like, my disposable income is not really allowing that right now.
Yeah. No, I can't just fly to
spend
Vegas.
A weekend in Vegas and spend $1,000.
Yeah, don't think that is possible at the moment. All right, let's get to some college football. Obviously, we talked a little bit earlier about Bill Belichick being named the head coach at North Carolina. He signs a 5-year deal. We both thought that was a little bit nutty. How about this other thing? And it's not on our list here, T-Bag, but let me switch over to this other one that I have here. This Ohio bill that's being introduced by a state representative in Ohio. Josh Williams, Ohio State representative. Josh Williams, I said it right. Introduced a bill to make it a felony to plant a flag at Ohio Stadium in Columbus. Your thoughts?
That would make me want to plant the flag all the more. It's like, why do you have a felony on your record? It's like, oh, when I was a college football player, when we beat Ohio State in their stadium, I planted a flag.
Yeah, lock me up, brother. I don't care. Come on.
Take me away. I would be really embarrassed if I was an Ohio State fan right now because you've already just gotten embarrassed by your rival on your home field for the 4th straight year. And then this JV clown-ass bill being proposed is so embarrassing. I mean, it's just so embarrassing. A felony? Felony.
So I've been filling in for Al the last couple of days here since he's on vacation. Today I brought this up. We had a caller call in that's an Ohio State fan. His name's Larry. He calls in all the time. Big Ohio State fan. He went on to say that you shouldn't be doing that on the sacred ground that is the horseshoe. And that almost a record scratch in my head when he said that is, do Ohio State fans really think that their field and their program are above all in college football? Because if so, they're idiots. All right. Ohio State is a massive brand, but it's not above all in, the top program in the whole entire country. All right. The horseshoe is not the only sacred ground that college football is played on in this country. I'll say that. And by the way,
it's in Southern California at the Mecca.
Yeah, exactly right. And by the way, if you don't want somebody planting a flag on your field, you know what you should do? Win the damn football game. All right. That's what you should do.
When you're 21-point favorites too.
Exactly. And then they come back, well, Michigan should win with some whatever you want to call it. I'm forgetting the word right now.
Class.
No, yeah, with some class. No, Michigan's came out and has beat your ass 4 years in a row. They can do whatever they want.
They own you. That's their field now.
Yes. It should be Michigan Field at Columbus, is what they should call it. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, that whole story. And by the way, it turns out the state representative from Ohio is actually a Michigan fan. So it's just a troll that he's having with Ohio State.
That's
fans.
Even better.
Yeah.
That's even better because, like, from the outside national perspective, it's like, look how soft Ohio State fans are.
Exactly. No, 100%.
That's hilarious. How does a Michigan fan get elected? Because I can tell you one thing. In the state of Oklahoma, if a Texas crowd is ever running anything political, he ain't winning.
Yeah, no.
He ain't winning. People will go against their political views to vote against
not to get political, but we've had that recently. So let's get into a little bit of some portal news at Oklahoma. 5, I said 5 wide receivers now in the portal. Nick Anderson, Andrew Anthony, Jalil Farouk, Jaquez Petaway, and JJ Hester now in the portal for the Sooners. Man, what a hit that is. That's tough.
I don't get it because maybe the medical staff, maybe there is some smoke to this medical staff is messing things up or something. I'm not in the complete know on all that stuff. But that's just so weird to have 5 of your best receivers just enter the portal because it's all the ones that were injured this year for the most part.
Yeah, they still have Jaden Gibson so far and Deion Burks. They haven't entered the portal just yet. There's still time, though, for them to do that.
And I'm sure a couple of them are leaving because they know, like, okay, if this whole group is healthy next year, I'm going to get, my snaps will be limited.
Yeah, like the young guys. Yeah.
So, that makes sense. But, for an Angel Anthony or a Nick Anderson and stuff.
Nick Anderson's one of the top portal guys now.
Yeah.
He's ranked up as one of the top portal guys.
He's an NFL wide receiver. So,
yeah.
That's weird to me. So I don't know. If I was an OU fan, I don't think I'd be overreacting maybe all too much. But I'm also at the point right now with the portal and with everything where it's just like I don't care. Tell me who my team's going to be in August. And that's who my team's going to be. I just have that mindset right now.
Yeah.
Like obviously, if OSU were to lose like Ollie Gordon last year or something, or if you have a true star player.
Yeah.
And they lose, that's when you get upset. But it's just like, even if they're a starter and stuff, it's just like, that's just how it is right now. Every team's having to go through it. You can benefit from it. You can, you can not benefit from it. So it is weird that they're having 5 guys enter the portal, but at the same time, you can bring in wide receivers, there's wide receivers everywhere. So you can bring some in.
I think the offensive line is more of like a focus of get some good guys in there. I think that's 100%. How about Kendall Daniels hitting the portal for Oklahoma State?
I don't think OSU fans are all too upset about this one. OSU fans got mad at me for saying I tweeted out yesterday. I said you prefer to keep him, but not going to raise hell about this one. And OSU fans got mad at me for even just saying you prefer to keep him. I would prefer to keep an NFL potential style player. I would.
Yeah.
But he obviously had a lot of quit moments this year. I don't want to say an attitude problem because I don't know that for granted, but it appears that he could have had an attitude problem at times. So I don't think this is going to be, the biggest loss in the world kind of thing. I think his name's bigger than his style, than his play is right now.
Yeah.
And I'm also not going to be surprised, Preston, if he's wearing crimson and cream next year.
That's what I was just going to bring up because he is a prototype build for the cheetah
Yep.
position that Brent Venables loves. And I believe Oklahoma obviously it was a different regime at that point, but Oklahoma recruited him out of
And he's from
high school.
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean,
yeah.
if he goes to OU, I don't think it's gonna be like Trace Ford going to OU kind of backlash, because one, Trace Ford was the first to do it, and Trace Ford was a lot more beloved and
Yeah.
more of an impact player while he was on the field. So, and mainly he was the first one to do it. So I don't think that there's obviously going to be backlash, obviously, but I don't think it's going to be as intense as what Trace had to go through. So I will say this: I think he has a lot of potential, but the way he played a lot of times this season was pretty JV.
Yeah, no, 100%. I know like the quit moments that you're talking about.
Yeah.
So 100%. All right, let's move on to the NFL and some of the games this week. And there's not really like too many massive games. And I made a list here. I didn't put it on our topic list, so I apologize, T-Bag, but I made a list of 4 games that I think are the biggest games this week. We'll start, obviously, I think this is the biggest game. It's not a standalone game, but it's Bills at Lions.
Mm-hmm.
This is, it should be. This should have been Monday or Sunday night.
Yeah, the 2 Monday games, we can talk about them in a second, but the 2 Monday games should be flexed out for the Bills Lions.
Yeah, 100%. I think this game is, potential Super Bowl matchup.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. It's going to be, it's not going to be a, how do I want to word this correctly? It's not going to be a loser leaves town game, because I'm not going to just count out the loser of this game, but someone can assert dominance in this game.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be a great quarterback battle. Josh Allen, Jared Goff are 2 of the best quarterbacks in the league right now. So I'm very, very, very excited for this game. By far the game I'm most excited for this weekend.
Oh yeah, 100%. It should be a great game. By the way, Sunday morning, 11 a.m., we're gonna have Matt Ravis on for a little Fantasy Island crossover, if you will, here on the show on YouTube, 11 a.m. on Sunday. He'll be joining us. So if you have any fantasy football questions, I know I normally go on with him on Friday mornings. We'll still do that this week, but he'll also be joining us on Sunday morning here on the program to discuss fantasy football. Who you should start.
I got a bye week. I got a bye week in the playoffs.
Hey, there you go. How about that? Another game that it intrigues me is the Buccaneers taking on the Chargers. Obviously, the Chargers coming off the heartbreak that was Sunday Night Football last week against the Buccaneers team, who they've got some fight in them. I'll give them that. The Bucs have some fight in them. Just when you think they're down and out, they keep winning football games. I believe they're 1 game over 500 now at this point on the season. So, they've got some fight in them. They keep on fighting. Yeah, they're 7-6. Chargers 8-5. That one going to be in Los Angeles. The Chargers a 3-point favorite in that one. Justin Herbert a little banged up. We'll see if he's good to go. I anticipate that he will be good to go. But that should be a good ball game out in Los Angeles.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good one. Really big. I mean, what are the AFC playoffs? Because it's getting more and more separated in the AFC for like the playoffs. So I would say it's probably a bigger game for the Buccaneers, but still a really big game for both teams. So let's see. AFC, yeah. So it's a big game, but it's a game the Chargers obviously, Preston, you don't want to lose the game.
Yeah.
But you can afford to lose a game a hell of a lot more than the Bucs can. Although I do think they're going to start kind of running away with this division maybe, because the Falcons are starting to fall down a little. But definitely a huge game for the Buccaneers.
No, 100%. And I believe the Chargers still have a game against the Broncos left. But, I mean, you look at these other teams, the Colts and the Dolphins in the AFC. They're 2 losses behind the Broncos and the Chargers. So looks like the Chargers will sneak in, thankfully, to the playoffs. One of the other games that I had on my list here, the Steelers at the Eagles. I think that's going to be a big game as well. That one going to be played at 3:25 p.m. The Eagles 5.5-point favorites. I think that's the Pickens factor, that I don't think George Pickens is going to be playing in this one. He's still banged up with a hamstring.
Yeah, and I got George Pickens in fantasy, so it's good. I'm on a bye week this week. He is obviously very crucial to that Saints offense, or that Steelers offense, not Saints. But yeah, this is another very interesting game. It's really big for both teams when you're talking about seeding and for the AFC and the NFC. So a little out of conference, big time game for both.
Well, I mean, if you look at
Pennsylvania.
If the Lions lose and the Eagles win, they both are 12-2 on the season. So that pulls the Eagles even with the Lions in the standings for them to potentially get the bye when the playoffs come around.
And yeah, that's the thing. Like the Eagles getting that 1 seed for the Eagles is going to be so massive because I think if the NFC Championship is Lions Eagles, which I think a lot of us project, I have another point I want to bring up here in a second, but if the Lions Eagles is the NFC Championship, I think it's a lot more of a disadvantage for the Lions to be going to Philadelphia than for the Eagles to be going to Ford Field to
playing outside and stuff like that. Yeah.
Playing outside, Jared Goff isn't the best cold weather quarterback, so I think the 1 seed for the Lions is really big. Also, we got some drama in Philadelphia once again.
Really?
AJ Brown and Jalen. Have you not seen this?
I haven't seen the whole entire thing, but elaborate.
Brandon Graham came on. Me and Sam Humphrey talked about it yesterday. Brandon Graham went on the radio show and it was pretty much like they used to be friends and now they're not. We'll talk about AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts. So Sam was saying, and it kind of is true. Like Jalen Hurts is a little bit more dramatic than when we talk about like drama players and stuff in sports. Like Jalen Hurts isn't really brought up maybe more than he should be.
Yeah,
so there always seems to be a new drama with the Eagles. It was Nick Sirianni last year. Nick Sirianni at the beginning of this year, and now it's AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts. So I'm not saying it's all Jalen Hurts, but there is always new Eagles drama. They always seem to get through it. Last year they had to lose in the playoffs to start 2-2 this year before they got through it again. So maybe they can get through it. Maybe it's no big deal whatsoever, but something to keep your eye on.
I would chalk that up to AJ Brown being a massive diva. He just strikes me as a massive diva when it comes
probably
to
true.
him.
Yeah. No, yeah, you're probably not wrong on that.
Yeah. Another game this weekend. The Packers travel to Seattle to take on the Seahawks. That one's Sunday Night Football. The Packers are 3-point favorite in that one. Seahawks are sneaky okay. I don't want to say sneaky
coming
good.
Along.
Yeah, sneaky coming along. They've got some injuries with their tailback Kenneth Walker, and then DK Metcalf has been banged up as well this season, but they're right there in the hunt.
Yeah, they've won 4 in a row. They're playing really good football right now. I just also don't know if it's a matter of if they've played, the Niners, then the Cardinals twice, and the Jets.
Yeah.
And the Cardinals have obviously starting to fall off. So this will be a really big test game for the Seahawks and where they stand with the NFC.
100%. And then we're just getting absolutely terrorized by the NFL by these 2 Monday night games. The Bears and the Vikings and the Falcons and the Raiders. Both those games will be on Monday night.
And is it sad that the Bears actually, is it sad that the Falcons Raiders might be the better game?
Yes, 100%.
If you're just talking about margin of score, because
Kirk Cousins is going to throw like 5 interceptions.
The Bears, I liked, obviously I'm happy they moved on from Eberflus. I'm happy they made a stand on that. But at the same time, why'd you make Thomas Brown the interim head coach when he was doing great at calling plays in the box? So I think, overreacting from one game maybe, but I think that might be affecting him just a little.
No, I agree with you. It was a strange move in my opinion. By the way, Sam Darnold lit it up last week, 5 touchdowns.
Played great.
So we'll see how that goes on Monday night. And then Kirk Cousins he's officially old. We might be on Michael Penix watch.
Michael Penix watch indeed.
Yeah. And then the Raiders, who the hell knows? They're ass, they're garbage, they suck.
They're terrible. Who's playing quarterback for this weekend?
Good question. I have no answer for that because they keep shuffling through them. Is Minshew
Aiden O'Connell's questionable? It'll be Ritter, I guess, because Aiden O'Connell's still questionable. Yeah. Minshew's obviously out. So I guess it might be Ritter.
Yeah, it would be Ritter. So Yeah, we'll see. That should be a boring, disgusting football game on Monday night that I'm going to be forced to sit down and watch. So, all right. Anything else before we wrap this thing up?
I think we kind of covered it all. OSU, please go hire an offensive coordinator.
Yeah,
Please. It's day 2 of the portal being open. Tomorrow's day 3, so I'd like to
yeah.
get an OC in town.
Yeah, let's get that thing wrapped up
Yeah,
so we don't have
please.
to worry about it all weekend. Right, get it done before the week. If I know anything about Mike Gundy, it's going to be a Friday news dump where he's going to do it. So
You're gonna bring an 8th-year quarterback.
yeah. All right, that's going to do it for us. Like I mentioned, Sunday morning, 11 a.m., Matt Ravis is going to join us for a little fantasy football talk. So if you have any questions Sunday morning about your fantasy football lineup, it's week 1 of the playoffs. Get in the chat. Talk to us. We'll give you some answers on who maybe, if you got a question you don't know who to start, throw it at us. We'll give you some answers and see if you like those. So that'll be Sunday at 11 a.m. That's when we'll be back with you guys. Until then, y'all have a good one. Be safe. And let's go out in Vegas and let's win this damn thing. All right, see you guys. Yeah, see you guys.